Hey everybody, welcome back to Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host, Adam, the CIO and co-founder of Nidus. This is Ian, our awesome podcast guy. And today we're going to be talking about VR headsets. And more importantly, we're going to talk about the Apple Vision and why I think it is a bust.
Well, I was going to say, people always love, just as the producer of this show, as they've called it in the comments, your unenthusiastic tech reviews when you reviewed the last, we reviewed the last iPad or reviewed the last, iPhone
Oh, the new
and
iPhone
MacBook
15?
Pro.
Yeah, lame. MacBook Pro, stupid.
Yeah, and you talked about the processors, but yeah, we got a lot of views on those, so
Yes.
people will dig this.
So let's see what happens. So first off, to start this, Ian has never done any of this virtual reality stuff. So I have one of the old Meta Quest things here. My kids play with it all the time. It's fun. This is the first one we all played with. So I figured we'll get him to play with it while I kind of just talk about the thing this way. I don't know, just to mess with him.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I made Adam laugh and maybe cringe when I said I think one of my last VR exposures was Virtual Boy made by Nintendo back in the 90s.
Oh my god, yeah. And I'm a fan. Like literally, I have this pristine Game Boy. This works too, by the way. Here, listen. You ready? Oh yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm a huge Game Boy fan, but no, the VR Game Boy set was garbage. Even when it came out, we all thought it was retarded. So anyway, VR headset. Go ahead and throw it on, and let's see what happens. Hopefully it just works as is. I kind of have it set up in like a thing where you can kind of just hang out. So here,
all right,
grab
so
these.
you got to give me the
yeah. Here, put this on the other hand.
Okay.
There you go. So you can kind of use these to point around, and you pull the trigger to like do things. So
then what is this? What is the one on the?
Unfortunately, I can't see what you're doing. You do have the ability to connect this
Yeah.
to a screen so I can see it, but we don't have any of that set up because we're not.
Like I'm trying to click continue.
So you pull the trigger. It's like a gun.
That's what I'm doing.
No, right here.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit resume.
Yeah.
Dude, if I'm gonna be completely honest, this is really not that impressive. This seems very primitive to me. I was expecting more. Like I get it, yeah. I'm looking up at the night sky. I'm looking at the constellations, but I was kind of exaggerating when I said Virtual Boy, but I do remember seeing VR a little bit past then.
Yeah.
And this doesn't seem that much evolved, but I'm sure there's way more you could do than just this. But like, my first reaction would be, I don't know, I'm not all that impressed.
Ian's also not a video game guy, so let me just
No,
preface that.
other
too.
than I like some Mario Golf, 64.
He tells from Long Island, Mario.
Why it should be Mario?
Yeah, it's Mario.
Yeah. Mario.
Even my wife says Mario. I was like, I love Mario. I'm like, I don't know who Mario is.
Yeah, so I see, the stars and stuff. If I was a kid, I'd be really into this. I don't know. But, all right, people don't need to see me, like, keep looking into a headset. But, no, I get the feel for
That's
it.
Ian's first VR experience. So it's...
How do I turn this off? So that's
there's a little button on the bottom. So, like, it's fun. Like, when I got it and I played with it, it was cool. I played some games, played with some people online, did some VR chat stuff and whatever. And, it's cool. I had a great time. And this thing goes, I think it was like $300 when I got it. So it's cheap enough to just play around with. So now let's talk about Apple's Vision Pro, right? Is that what it is? I think it's the Vision Pro. I don't even know.
And how much is
$3,500.
Yeah.
Plus tax. So you're looking at like $4,000. Plus, you're gonna have cases and whatever. So accessories. Just say it's gonna be $4,000 to buy this thing.
So I actually think our audience, like, one of the first things they'd want to know from you, how's this going to sell? Like, how popular is this going to be? Okay.
I think it's not going to sell at all. I think it's going to be total dog doo-doo. And so one of my good buddies, Joe, he's huge. He was like, oh, I'm getting one. As soon as it comes out, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to revolutionise. He's a huge Apple fanboy. We get in nice technical discussions, if you want to put it that way, all the time. So he's a big fan. He thinks it's going to revolutionize VR, AR, whatever. And when watching all the videos up to the release, I'm like, okay, it looks cool, it's neat, but I'm like, there's nothing I haven't seen with this thing. And this thing's $300, and it does a good enough job. And I think the next version. I haven't played with the 3 that's out. I was thinking about picking one up, but I just figured it'd be the next iteration, a little bit better graphics, probably better mobility, things look a little bit better, whatever. I was like, so whatever. Do I think this is going to be the future of computing? No, because for me, right away, 20 minutes after this thing on my head, headaches.
Yeah.
Like you have a screen this close to your face. Like it's not that far away. It isn't a giant big screen TV. It's just fooling your brain. And I remember the first time I played with something like this was I think it was the first Oculus where you had to plug into the computer and everything.
Yeah.
So some friends of mine, we talked about them before, the guys that made those New York City billboards that all the homeless people camped around. That company.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is they shared office space with the company that developed the Xbox Kinect, which was that thing that you set on the original. It was like I think it was the Xbox original Xbox. No, not the original Xbox. What was the second one? The Xbox 360.
360, I believe.
I think it was. Was the Kinect came out for? I don't remember. Anyway, they were developing the Kinect with the whole LiDAR thing to actually do real 3D mapping, so you could do all the dancing and whatever. So with that, they had all kinds of crazy cool tech, and they had the Oculus one as soon as it came out. So we all ran to play with it, and I remember putting it on and feeling like I wanted to throw up right away because it just messed with my head so much. But that was version 1, and this isn't near as bad as that. But the headaches, absolutely. Like you're staring at a screen, like, hey, how fun is this? How long until your brain says this sucks? You know
well, I
mean?
was also wondering for you because you are someone who has to look at all the screens behind you.
Oh, yeah.
You are someone who has to be staring at a screen all day, every day. I'm sort of in the same boat, right?
And I'm not even joking. Check this out. This is going to be a neat trick for all you other techies out there. This is pure castor oil. Now you're probably wondering, what the hell does this have to do with VR? So I found out as I'm getting older, as I'm sure many of you are as well that are listening, and my eyes get dried out faster because you're staring at. Basically, I went to the optometrist and I'm like, "Yo, like I feel like my eyes aren't as good anymore." He's like, "Well, you're over 40, no shit, Sherlock." I'm like, "No, I get that, but like, it's just." And he's like, "Well, your eyes are getting dried out a lot because let me guess, you work on a computer." I'm like, "All day long." He's like, "Yeah." So what's happening is you guys that work on computers all day, you're not blinking as much as you're supposed to. So your eyes aren't getting wet, and then what's happening is the pores that release the fluids or whatever to lubricate your eyes get kind of clogged up when they're not used regularly. So then whatever. So he's like, you can try these eye wipes and all this other shit, and it didn't work. And I was like, that's annoying. So reading online as one does, found out take just like a little bit of castor oil and just rub it like on the back of your eyelids. Boop, dude, problem gone.
That's good to know.
That plus these things from Pure Encapsulation. I'm not sponsored by any of this stuff, by the way. But macular support formula. Take 2 of these bad boys a day. Like I felt, over 40, my eyes getting worse. I started taking that. They got a little bit better, but they've kind of like plateaued. Like my eyesight has stayed. My eyesight has not gotten worse anymore. So there's something there. I don't know. To me, eyesight's super important. So
of course.
I've been super paranoid about it. So that's why also, I don't know what the long-term effects are of this thing. And I don't want to sound like a paranoid person, but...
Well, and I actually feel like I may pick up castor oil now, which is good to know. I'm very big on supplements. But the thing that I was going to ask you originally, and the reason I mentioned it, is so you, like so many other Americans, like anyone who works in tech, you're staring at a screen all day.
Yeah.
I notice that you, much like myself, when you read books, you have paperback books, you have hardcover books. I don't know if that's intentional for you. It is for me that I don't want to read on a Kindle because I'm staring at a screen all the time and it's an escape from staring at a screen. So does having your escape from staring at a screen be another screen that you're looking into? Does that appeal to you? Because for me, I have way too much screen time as it is. And if I'm out in the real world, the last thing I want is more screen time.
Right. I'm 100% about getting off of the screen as much as possible. Just like you said, I'm staring at all this all day long.
Yeah.
And this is when they try to sell the product, it's like, oh, well, look, you could just put this one thing on, and then you have giant monitors all over the place. It's like you do and you don't. You know what I mean? It's like these are all independent things that I have going on, and it's not. And I want to be able to walk away from it, and I want to be able to interact with my kids when they come in. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that. Now, if I'm sitting on a flight, I got like a flight to Australia, and somehow I won't get a headache after 20 minres. Would it be cool to have that thing on my head to watch movies and do stuff and work and have all that space when I'm stuck in a cramped spot? Sure. Then, that kind of makes sense. So I think there's definitely use cases, but $4,000 for a headset that does what a $250 headset does, to like capability wise, is pretty much on par.
And that's another thing that I asked you about, and why I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could jump in here on this video, which, thanks for having me here, was that Mark Zuckerberg put out a video
Yeah.
saying that what we have is just as good, if not better, than what Apple is putting out, and it's a fraction of the price. And for me, who knows absolutely nothing about virtual reality, I was asking you, is this just him plugging his stuff, or is that a legitimate claim?
So I
So
think it's 100% legitimate. I think it was obviously a sales pitch. It was obviously a promo for their product and
sure.
bashing Apple and taking the opportunity to do so. Um, but I think the claims that he's making are pretty much consistently true about what he's saying, right? Like, so the capabilities, the vision versus this, they all have the same capabilities. Like the screens might be a little bit better in the vision, but it doesn't make a difference. And I think there's a lot of extraneous crap in the Vision that's completely not required, which we can get into. But also, the Vision has the battery pack is external. So the battery pack has that wire that goes down. He's like, oh, then you don't have a wire to get in your way. I get how that could be annoying. But realistically, I kind of like the idea that the thing that can explode isn't attached to my face.
Yeah.
So for me, and it's like, I don't know if it is, but I would imagine it's just a USB-C cord.
Yeah.
So it's replaceable. So when the battery dies, I can just swap another one out. Where this, if it dies, you have to literally plug it in. And I could, in this thing, I have a little magnet thing here, so it just charges right away. But it's just USB. So I can just plug a USB cable in here, and then I got the cable on me too, and it just plugs into a battery pack. So I understand the argument, but again, for $4,000
Yeah.
versus this, like I don't see the benefit at all. And I really don't see people running around wearing VR goggles all day because I think we've reached the tipping point. I personally feel that we've come to the realization, like what you just said, we're on the screen too much. Like we're like, I want to get the hell away from this now. I want to go out into the real world again. I want
Yeah.
to enjoy interactivity with real people again.
It's a meme that I'm sure you've seen, but it's extremely true. That I've come across where it says that we used to go on the internet to escape reality.
Yeah.
Now it's like we go out into reality to escape the internet.
100% true. And this didn't hit me as hard as I took my daughter to Europe, like right before Christmas, right? She's never left the country. And I told her, I was like, hey, we're going to leave the country. It was like a thing, daddy-daughter thing. And I really wanted to take her out. So we went to Milan, we went to Germany, Prague, and did we go somewhere else?
And in only a matter of a couple of days, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was
to
like
me.
5 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
we bounced around a lot. But it's all places I've been before. So, I knew people there and, I knew where to go. I already knew where to stay. I knew what to show her and stuff. And she's a big fan of Christmas. So, like, Prague and Germany do Christmas, like, to the hilt. Like, that's their thing. They go to town. So she had a great time. But anyway, while we were there, like, the first main spot we stayed in was in Germany. We were there for a couple days. And walking around, and the first thing I noticed, I was like, holy crap. I'm like, you're looking around, like, no one's looking at their phone. The only times you see anyone on their phone was if they were sending a text message to somebody or they were on a phone call. Or I think I saw a group of like Asian kids doing a TikTok dance video one time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, which you see
That's
constantly
it.
here. Yeah.
I didn't see a single person walking around staring at the phone, trying to cross the street while looking at their phone. I didn't see anyone just like doing their job and just staring at the phone. All of a sudden, it has this epitome, like looking around. Everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's having like nice hot wine. Everyone's just enjoying being out with each other. And I was like, holy crap. This is how we used to live. This was how life was all the time. I just forgot. Like we all know that's what it was like. We all know it was better. But we're stuck in this world where we're attached to this thing all the time. And it's like and I talk to friends of mine about this all the time. Like, hey, let me ask you this. Could you ever spend a day without your phone? I'm like, no, it's impossible. Like you can't. It's like if I forget my phone, if I leave, I drive, I go out, and I'm like, crap, I left my phone at home. You will turn around and go home and get it.
I purposely will go somewhere without my phone. It's
You
like a
are
weekend.
weird.
Yeah.
In a good way. But
Yeah.
also, let's let everyone know, you just had, up until very recently, you had an iPhone 5.
5S. Yeah.
5S. You are almost anti-technology,
Yeah.
but I would say for your average person, especially in a tech world, like
Sure.
we like leaving the phones, like I carry with 2 phones half the time.
Yeah.
Like, and same thing. If most of us, like, let's say we're traveling somewhere, like, let's say we're going to Identiverse in Vegas, right? And I accidentally forget my phone at home and I land in Vegas, I 100% without a shadow of doubt, I'm going to go to a store and buy a phone. I'd be like, I need a phone. I can't not have a phone for 3 days
Yeah.
while I'm here.
I also am probably one of the few people who still uses an iPod. Like I go to the gym with an iPod, and I will still buy an iPod. Like if this, goes bad, I will go on eBay and I'll buy another iPod
Yeah.
because I know, just like all of us, if I have my phone, even if it's in airplane mode, I could easily be distracted.
Yeah.
If I have the iPod and my only purpose of this is to listen to music while I'm doing some other task, that's all I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
So I do like the fact that I have no other distraction on that thing.
Well, I mean, I've said it before in this podcast. I've deleted all my social media off my phone. I mean,
Yeah.
like we have a phone just to post stuff, and because like I just don't want that distraction in my life anymore. I'm over it. Like I don't listen to the news or the propaganda that's out there anymore. It's just like I don't want to be involved in the conversation anymore. It's like I feel the internet has gone so far in the wrong direction. It's almost irrecoverable. That it's just so polluted
Yeah.
with spam and garbage and things just to consume your time, but in a wasteful manner. Like the internet was created by super smart people to be able to transfer ideas and information openly amongst the world, to help grow and make the world a smarter place and a more efficient place and a more fun place. And then the dot-com boom happened and all the smart people figured out they could make money off the dumb people. And then we now have social media, and I think now the internet is social media. It's almost a one-to-one. It's either BS news sites all just spitting out the same thing over and over in their spin, or social media. Like, what else do people go on the internet for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Absolutely.
it's just not there. So I think we're in a
And
shift.
those two things are tied together.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Absolutely.
where do most people now? I don't know if it's technically most, but so many people get their news: Twitter or X.
It ain't
That's
TV.
Where, yeah, but a lot of them aren't even going to websites. They follow who they want to follow, and they get their news from those people. And that's another problem. Everybody's in their echo chamber. Everyone is in their bubble, and everyone agrees with them because they're only following people that they agree with.
And I think the VR stuff specifically, I think it's going to make it worse if people adopt it. If people don't figure this out right away, I think if you've seen Player One, the movie,
No, I know of it.
really, it's a really good movie, and the whole basis is, it's all about VR and interacting in these worlds and whatever. Anyway, wait, am I thinking Player One? Yeah, there's too many. There's also Gamer,
Was it
which
called
is really
Ready
good.
Player One, or was it called?
It might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Gamer is
I'll
another
put it
really
up on
good
the
one
screen.
too. That movie is badass. Like I love that movie. Anyway, but the whole idea is like, hey, look, your world sucks. Your life sucks. You're living in some trailer trash place. You're never gonna escape. You're poor, and you're just giving up on life. So it sucks. But you throw this thing on, and all of a sudden you have a huge big screen TV. You can be anywhere in the world, any point in time you want. And it all looks real, like you're there.
And they're already talking about
Oh,
that. They're
for
saying
sure.
that poor people won't be able to travel, but they'll be able to go to Italy on this device.
And
They'll be
that is
able
the
to.
dumbest. Don't do that. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you how much that is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. That's like saying, oh, well, I watched a video on YouTube. I know all about Italy. It's like, no, you don't. You need to go there. You need to smell it. You need to experience the food. You need to talk to the people. You need to get hit by a Vespa. You need to do all the things that you do when you're in Italy. And it's not expensive to get there. Like, it's just, people think it is. They're like, or it's too hard, or I don't even have a passport. It's like, so get a passport.
And
You know
then
what I
this would be going into a whole nother discussion,
mean? Sorry.
which we often do. No. But I'm saying that they're also pushing all the climate change stuff, and they're saying, hey, instead of you having a bigger carbon footprint and getting on a plane to go to these places, we could just have you do it from here, and you're not emitting any carbon, and you're not doing any damage to the environment.
Emit all the carbon you want, okay? If it means that you get to live and enjoy experiences with real people, spend your carbon credits, okay? Like, do whatever you got to do. But buy carbon credits online if you want to offset your carbon footprint. That's fine. But you need to enjoy real life. But I think that's where, getting back to the point is, I think that's where we're at with the shift. I think if this came out, like when the Meta came out and the Oculus came out, it was awesome and super cool tech. But now I think we're at a point where it's too late. So what's going to happen is everyone's either going to adopt this, and that's going to be their new screen, and they're just going to be totally siloed into their little world, and that's it. Which, totally possible. I mean, how many times do you go out to dinner and you see a bunch of kids, like teenage girls or whatever, at a table, and they're all just texting. No one's looking up at each other. They're all on their phone, just texting, and they're texting each other. And you'll see them laugh, like, I know, right? And it's like, what just happened? It's like weird ESP that's going on.
You want to know what's the weird thing? I mean, my parents are in their 60s and 70s, and they are glued to their phone at all times, way more than I am.
Yep. Yeah, I think it affects, we've been slowly trained that this is what you do. This is where your entertainment is. This is where you can talk to your friends. This is where you do your thing. So therefore, this is like glued to your freaking hand.
And I mean, this is every town, including mine. But like when I drive here, I pass what was the only movie theater on Long Beach, correct?
which is gone.
Which is gone because
So
people
sad.
now are just saying, but yeah, people just, I could go watch movies at my house, and now they could probably watch movies on
Yeah,
this.
look, I got a big screen TV just by putting this on my face, and that's
Yeah.
what they want to sell it to you as. And it's like, man, you're missing out on the real experience, right? Like the real experience is sitting in that theater with the real screen, with the sound that you can feel, with the popcorn in your hand, with your friends laughing as you're looking at each
Exactly,
other,
yeah.
enjoying the time. Like I really feel that the VR AR experience is going to push society into a deeper pit of depression, anxiety, social awkwardness, isolation, which just, I think it's that downward spiral. It's just going to fuel itself. Like we're already seeing it on the phones. Like how many people and kids have like social depression because of what they see online? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like my kids don't have access to social media for a damn good reason. It's
And I
useless for them.
believe, I'd have to double check this, but I believe Mark Zuckerberg's kids don't either.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, and these are the people who developed this technology, so that should tell you
Yeah.
something.
I mean, it's just like, you know, I don't have any hatred towards Meta or Apple for the products that they're making. I mean, Apple's making dumb products super expensive, so that's their problem. But like, I understand there's a definite need. Like, I have one. Like, I have this. I'm gonna buy the other one too because I think it's cool. It's a fun toy. It's something to do. Just
But when
like
you say the other one, you don't mean Apple. You
no,
mean
absolutely not.
Meta,
I will
yeah.
not buy the Apple one. I think it is a complete waste. People are returning it. It's too expensive, too heavy. There's the headaches again. I'm telling you, like I'm not going to spend that kind of money on something that I can do exactly with something else that's way cheaper, way more supported, has way more apps on it. It's kind of like I'm an Apple guy. Like I have so many Apple things, I have all the Apple things, so I'm definitely an Apple fan. But like I have Google Home for all my stuff because it works better. You know what I mean? So like I'm not like a diehard Apple person. I love that all my Apple stuff is tied together. Like the ecosystem works really well. But there's a point where like if it's just not good enough, I'm sure as shit not going to buy it, especially if it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you know what it was? I think the first thing that came off on that VR headset that made me just be like, this is a waste, was when they put a screen on the outside. So there's a screen right here to show your eyes and to show like whether or not you're currently able to see other people or not. Because when the camera's on and you can see, they show your eyes. When they don't, it's a blue thing. Like, what? Like, as a prototype thing, like when Google Glass came out and they're just like, let's just go crazy
I was
and
going
have
to
some
ask about that
fun.
because Google Glass failed miserably.
Okay. I disagree. And I know this is going to sound weird. It never became a real legit commercial product. So if that's the measurement of success, which understandably is a valid measure of success, then yes, it failed flat on its face. It never amounted to anything. It died, scrapped it, whatever. But I think it was successful in the sense that what they did was true innovation of a new idea and a new product and a new way to interact with the technology that has then stemmed out to create things like this. Like it's given that idea to people being like, oh, if they can do that, I could probably do this. So I think it was just a stepping stone to create more tech that we have now. Like right now, Meta has the Ray-Ban ones that have like AR built into them or something, or
Okay.
cameras. I don't know. I'm not really following it too much, but like, I think that was just the you know, the very beginning of where the Apple Vision is now, essentially.
Gotcha.
So in that sense, I think it was a success from a technology standpoint of showing wearable technology, augmented reality. Like that's really the beginning of that. So I think from that point it was a success as a technology as a whole. For Google, for that particular project, yeah, definitely failed and fell flat on its face.
So the main thing I wanted to bring up when I said to Adam I'd love to jump in on talking about this is that my professional experience for years has been working with guys in the special operations and military community.
Yeah.
I currently do Battle Line podcast with Chris Peranto, one of the Benghazi attack survivors. Prior to that, I worked with Brandon Webb, Navy SEAL sniper instructor. And all of these guys, anyone in the military, but especially the special operations military community, are very big on situational awareness, which is just meaning that in the present moment that you're in, let's say you're in a restaurant, you want to be aware of where the exits are. You want to be aware of how to escape any type of disaster that could happen, whether it's what we just saw happen in Kansas City with an active shooter or a natural disaster of some point. You want to be as completely tied to the moment as possible. And when I see this, and when I see people using this, especially on places that can be dangerous, like the subway, this is the antithesis of situational awareness because your hearing could be completely engulfed in this, and your vision could be completely wrapped up in this.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, we're with phones, we already see a lot of
Oh
that.
yeah.
With this, it is taking it to a whole nother level of being out in public using this. And it's pretty, it could be pretty dangerous.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you're gonna see people wearing these things, walking around the streets, thinking it's fine to cross the street, and there's gonna be blind spots they haven't figured out yet. That's gonna take someone out. You're gonna, I mean, just the fact that you're wearing, like, would you walk around like I'm looking around like as if I have $4,000 worth of cash sitting around, but would you take like let's say your phone costs $4,000. This is like I think the phone's now like $1,000 for a cell phone, right?
Sure.
And people are paranoid as shit about it getting stolen, and they have all kinds of crazy. Like Apple just released new tech now to help prevent stolen phones and things from happening. So would you take 4 of them, stack them, and put them on your face, and leave them there to where anyone could just take that and walk off with it? It's super easy to grab. You'll have no idea they're even coming, so instantly it's just gone, like you're just talking. Or they'll just fuck with you and just smash it, break it, throw it on the ground. Like you might trip and fall and smack it on your face. I mean, there's like,
Yeah, I mean, I
to
would
me-
say that the technology, I assume, is there that you could, the minute it's stolen, you could deactivate it, but you're still out of your headset. If
Right.
there's, yeah.
Well, I mean, think of it like kids, right? Kids are the dumbest people in the world because they do things for no reason whatsoever. Like how many times have you sit on your phone and then like whether your own kid or just some random teenager that's an asshole is just walking around and just smacks the phone out of your hand because they think it's hilarious and your phone falls. You're like, what do you do? As soon as everyone drops their phone, everyone does the same thing, right? It's this. Okay, it's fine. Because they're like, oh, is my screen cracked? Like, okay, no, it's fine. Take a $4,000 headset with multiple monitors and screens and smack it off someone's head and drop it on the concrete. Watch them cry as they watch it fall towards the ground. Like, that's the kind of stuff you got to watch out for, too, more than just anything else.
Do you think there'll be, it'll be regular that you'll have insurance on it and Apple will cover it? And
I don't think Apple will cover it. I'm sure they'll have Apple Care for technology stuff, but I don't think they're going to cover, like, if you accidentally fall on your face and break the screen. It's going
Yeah.
to be super expensive to repair, for sure.
because that could be in the future. I mean, I just know, with laptops, at
Yeah.
a certain level, they'll cover it.
And that's the thing. Like, this thing right now is, like, I think $250, maybe even less now, to buy the 2, right? And so if I shattered this thing, it would suck, but it's not going to end my life because I just lost. Okay, it's going to be $200 to go buy a new one, whatever. $4,000 because I accidentally broke my new toy. Like, that's not toy money. Like, you don't spend $4,000 like, oh, this would be cool. I can watch Netflix. I can watch Netflix on a bunch of different things. I can buy this and watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you're going to get from this? How is this $4,000 investment going to improve my life to either get me back more time to make that $4,000 or to where it's going to save me from having to spend $4,000 on other stuff because I can fit it on there? Like, oh, if it really could, like, you never need to buy a TV. You never need to buy computer monitors. Heck, you don't even need a computer anymore. Okay, now I'm interested in this conversation, but that's not what this is doing at all. And the Meta Quest does it. Like, it does everything that the Vision one does. I do not understand the price point, I think, is the problem. I think if Apple figured out, if they cut off all the dumb shit like putting a screen on the outside, that is extraneous cost that you're passing on to the customer for zero purpose other than, ooh, it looks cool.
Here's another thing I've heard said on the internet, and I feel like you would probably echo, is that Steve Jobs was like a pioneer and an innovator, and Tim Cook is just like a guy who sells you tchotchkes.
I think, here's what I think. I think that when Jobs was in control of Apple, people that he hired the smartest people he could find. I think he was really good at finding talent and pushing them to breaking limits, often in very negative ways. But that's how he got the results he did. And I think he basically was like, the self-martyr of, look, I'm going to be the asshole and I don't care because that's what it's going to take to make this company great. That's going to be what it's take to make the products come out good. People hate me. I don't give a shit. I think that was his motto. And everyone's so concerned about, oh, but he was an asshole. It's like, yeah, well, I'm glad I didn't work for him. But I love what came out. I love the product that came out. So with him, people would come to him all the time with like, hey, check out this really cool invention where we spent tons of time and money and research to make this prototype. Well, look at this thing. And he'll be like, nope. I'm like, no. This is great. We got to push this thing out. We got to get our money back. Nope. That's how the iPhone started. Originally, they came to him with a tablet, like an iPad. And I was like, hey, look what we made. And he's like, that's great. Make it smaller. Put a phone in it. It needs to fit in my pocket. Let me know when you got that. And they're like, that's not possible. I was like, well, it's not going out. And he canned the whole thing until it made it iPhone capable. And so that was his big thing, was that, you know, when you're at that level of a CEO of a company and with that many people and that many smart people coming to you, you're going to have great ideas coming to you all the time, but you got to pick the right one, because you can't just release everything that comes to you.
Sure.
And I feel like the current leadership, I don't want to say Tim Cook because I don't know if he's actually in charge or not. I don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not in charge. I feel like he's like, I don't want to, I think we can all think of a certain person that's technically in charge, but is he in charge? But I think it's that where it's like, I don't know. I never seen leadership quality from Tim Cook. To me, he was the guy that got, like, just happened to be at the right place at the right time and I mean, maybe he's doing awesome in the company. I have no idea. I just have not looked at all. But I haven't seen anything at all innovative whatsoever come out of Apple at all. I've just seen, oh, you know what? What's everyone else doing? Oh, we should do that too. But we'll do it the Apple way, which means we're going to throw some useless bells and whistles on it. We're going to make this shit stupid expensive, but it's going to work really well. And it's like, okay, cool. And I think this vision is just leaps and bounds past that. It is so over the top expensive with no additional functionality and useless bells and whistles that it makes no sense to me. Now, if this was like Google Glass, if Apple was saying, hey, look, this Vision Pro is a developer's unit. Like, this is a developer console to build these Vision apps, because in 2 years, we're going to release a $500 model that can do all this same stuff, but right now we need to get the world going. Okay, I could get behind that. But it's not. They're pushing this to people. And it's like, you're pushing a $4,000 toy to normal people. No normal person spends $4,000 on a VR headset that offers no additional functionality than anything else. Like, I don't know. I think it's a complete waste of money. And if you just, let's look at all the people posting online how they're returning them like crazy. They're like, yeah, it's neat, it's fun, but I want my money back.
I wonder how this will affect the stock price, though, because it's like, no matter what, Apple seems to thrive.
Yeah, I don't think it'll affect stock price. I think people are naive. I think people are just going to be like, oh, look, it's fancy. And they just believe the hype. I think Apple's an overhyped company right now. I have a whole idea for a whole new phone system, which we'll talk about later. But I think we've jumped the shark when it comes to technology and with the internet and everything in whole. I think we've come to rely on it too much, and I feel that this is going to take us all in the wrong direction. I don't think it's going to be. I think it should be a toy. Like my kids love playing with it. You know, they get 20 minutes at a time, and then I turn it off. You know, because like I don't want their brains to melt. But I think that's where we are with VR. I think it's a cool thing to do. I think it could be. There's lots of really cool stuff. Like, I mean, it would be cool. Like, hey, look, here's a video I took while I was in Italy. Now I can watch it and feel like I was back in there. That would be rad. Like, I'd love to be, I have one of those 360 cameras, so that would be cool to be able to take 360 video and 360 photos of places, throw on a headset and kind of re-experience those experiences. That would be amazing. Then we're talking about something cool. Am I going to spend $4,000 for it? Nope. I'm still not. It's still stupid. I can't think of anything. This amp is the only thing I think I have here out of all the tech.
Which I picked up for you, I remember.
Yeah, that thing was like, I think $4,500 or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And that is a crazy passion project that I have. I love, you know, like for me, I'm a big like audiophile guy, so I love my music. So for me, that was a crazy, like once in a lifetime, going to last forever splurge. Do I think that the Apple Vision headset is going to last as long as this amp? And do I think the Apple Vision headset is going to give me any more additional quality like than this thing is, like compared to that amp to like some crappy one? No. You know, it's like there's nothing like why would you spend that much money on something so ridiculous? It makes no sense to me. Like unless you just want to run around and tell people like, you know, like when people are running designer clothes and stuff, like that's the other thing. Like people with wealth don't advertise the wealth, right? Like you're not seeing someone with real money being like, you know, walking around with Versace. It's like, no.
I hear you're saying this as I'm wearing this G-Star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just thought it was a cool sweatshirt.
Yeah, but that's not like people walking around trying to show, oh, look at my Louis Vuitton bag. And it's like, yeah, that's because you can literally only afford that Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah. I do have a Gucci wallet, but I just really liked it.
Dude, I got stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I do have some things from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. You're not,
But like,
splurging every
you know
day
who
on
I'm
it.
talking about. There's people where
Oh,
it's
of
like they
course.
want to talk about, dude, check out my belt. Look at my shoes. Oh, like they want to be flashy. They want that attention. That's who's going to buy the Vision Pro.
Yeah, and that was, I remember actually Gary Vaynerchuk made the argument that that was the appeal for NFTs. He was like, look, people walk around with a T-shirt that's really no different than a $20 T-shirt, but they're
Yep.
paying $600 because of the name. So he's like, that is like the NFT world. So it'd be another
Exactly.
discussion, but
Yeah, it's all, and I think that this Vision thing is the exact same thing. I think this is just going to be a status symbol. So I think anyone that spends the money on the Vision Pro that doesn't make at least $1 million a year in net income is just purely trying to show off how cool they are. And I think what they're really doing is showing off how stupid they are.
and Harold may be able to pull it up, but there's so many examples of there's been videos you could find of people at the Knicks game courtside with the headset on, and people in the
So
subway.
stupid.
And yeah, let's make a compilation of those because yeah,
It's like, oh, look, I'm going to go out and experience real life. This is amazing. Check out this basketball game. I'm getting real life stats.
yeah, the guy's pulling out of the Tesla, right, with the VR headset.
Yeah, well, that's right now also, you got to remember, it just came out. It's the
Yeah.
big buzzed item. So everyone's also going to be doing dumb shit like this just to get the clicks. Like they're doing it so they can be like, oh, look, I'm driving a Tesla in my, like how many buzzwords kind of link together? Like I'm driving my Tesla doing some AI modeling in my new Vision Pro while I drive, autonomously down to whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Everyone's going to watch your video. Great. You look like a tool and you are a tool. It's like, oh, I'm at courtside basketball seats. I'm getting this real life view. Okay. You look like an idiot. Yes, people will watch your video and want to talk about you because you did it. I get it. Okay, Kanye. Good job.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I don't know. I think it's neat tech. I think it's just that it's gonna, I don't think it's making us as people better.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
it's gonna make us worse. So I don't know. It's a fun toy. I think you're an absolute moron to spend $4,000 on a VR headset right now. I like the idea of being able to eventually get to the point where technology is simple as like I can just take my existing sunglasses, or not even existing, but like special sunglasses, throw them on and Mission Impossible it, and now I can get augmented reality of like, oh hey, I got my Google Maps. How do I get there? And I get a little ding, turn left. I'm like, oh, it's over here. Like
That's more screen time.
that would be kind of cool, but it's like it's something that helps me with
Yeah.
what I'm doing when I want to. Like if I'm in Italy running around, I'm like, what the hell does that sign say? If I can get real-time translations, okay, now we're talking about some benefit. And I still won't spend $4,000 on that.
That'll probably happen soon, though. I would think that
Yeah,
doesn't sound
I
that far
think-
away.
But that's the Google Glass. That's where it all comes back to. They were
Yeah.
the first ones to really do that at a commercial level and say, hey, look at this thing. So is it a stepping stone to getting to that point? I think so, and that will be great when we get there, just as an additional tool. But to your point, like more screen time, it has to be used, for its proper purpose, which is to help you, to provide utility, to provide function, to help you with something, not to immerse you in something and detract you from the world around you, from your family and friends and stuff. I mean, I think anyone that has kids, you can relate to this. During the summertime, when you look outside, how many kids do you see playing in the street? Have you ever seen a street hockey game going on anymore?
Believe it or not, where I am, I see a lot of kids playing. It's a pleasant thing to see.
That is rare.
Yeah, there's kids on bikes where I live like constantly, which is great. It's great. To see.
think that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it does by me, Port Washington. I'll throw out my town. Yeah.
There you go. But like most places, man, kids are they're at home on their computer, they're at home on their tablets, they're on their phones. Like it's like my daughter, I told her, it was years ago, this is when I had this epiphany. I was like, no, you're done with the computer, go outside and play with your friends. Go to their house, talk, call them, whatever you got to do, go outside, go do something. And she's like, I can't. There's no one's outside. There's no one to play with. What do you want me to do? And I'm like, holy shit, you're right. Like there isn't anyone. I'm like, I don't care. Go and knock on their door. And so she'd go, and now it's like she has friends come over and stuff. But you know what they do? They'll be in a
TikTok
room, her
dances,
friends
sure.
on an iPad staring at a wall that way. She's on her computer facing a wall that way. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, we're playing Roblox. We're building a town. We're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. Like I remember playing video games with my friends. We'd sit next to each other, all staring at the same TV. But I don't know, man. It's like the interactivity is just gone, and I'm afraid it's going to lead to long-term problems. And like to bring it back again to the Europe trip, I feel it's really only happening here. And I'm not going to go and put on my conspiracy hat to say it's a concerted effort to make that happen. I think we're just more susceptible to it because we have that mindset of like, give me the shiny object, and we don't really have the same type of core values that most of the rest of the world do. And like when it comes to like family and just eating dinner at the same time at the table, like I think like that's not even like when you tell people like, hey, we just all eat separately and whatever. It's like, what's wrong with you guys, So I think this country is on a downward trend compared to the rest of the world. And it terrifies me because my kids are growing up here. And I don't want them to go where I feel technology is taking everybody. And especially when we start bringing AI into things. I mean, these algos are being developed to purposely suck your attention in as long as possible and keep you attached as long as possible. People are spending billions of dollars every year just to maintain your attention on something and distract you from everything else going on. And then from that, get you to do, essentially what they want, which would be either watch ads or vote a certain way or whatever their sway is. So to me, it's like, we got to get the hell away from that as much as, and that's the other thing, dude. Like, what about when ads start popping up on these things? Like right now, it's like, oh, you're watching a movie or you're watching an app. Well, all of a sudden you're like doing this, you're on your thing, and all of a sudden it's like, ding, you have a 3D ad. This person walks into your face and wants to tell you something, and it's, that's next.
Of course.
And it's like, who wants that? I sure as shit don't. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon.
Not at all.
But
I mean, you know tech. You're on top of the latest technology.
I love technology. Like, I love buying the latest and greatest things. I love the weird little gadgets, and like I love playing with stuff, and I think I always will. But I also enjoy real life. Like, I love traveling the world. I love going to jungles in Cambodia and just disappearing for 3 days. It's like I love doing crazy shit like that because that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's funny because we were both at a concert last week, but we ended up going at separate times. But I could tell you I was on the balcony because I had a friend who was able to get me there. But I saw Adam, because he's 7 feet tall, in the pit, and you were not on your phone. And actually, not a lot of people there were. It was nice to see many people living in the moment because I feel like these big events, see Taylor Swift and all that, it's all about that I'm there and I got a ticket and I have to film the whole thing on my phone. And you got to live in the moment.
Before I went into the pit, I was actually back like center of the soundboard, like kind of that little elevated area there. And I was standing there, and this dude came up and just walked up in front of me. Doesn't matter, I can see over everyone, so it's not a big problem. But then he's all of a sudden, he holds his phone up to like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Dude wants to record some concert. I'm like, is what it is. I record pieces of concerts all the time too. So I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is going, and we're now a minute in, he's still just holding it there. I'm like, okay, maybe this is his favorite song. Maybe he's just recording the whole song. I've done that too. I'll let that go, whatever. So now we're well into the second song. And that's when I'm like, okay, man, you're one of those people who's just going to record the concert. He's not even watching. He's just like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, I can see the phone. You're not even like, getting the show. It's a horrible shot. Like, and you're never going to watch this.
Well, I was going to say, as much as I can't stand those people, I do actually like the fact that there is someone that sometimes I could go on YouTube the next day and I could watch the entire show. And sometimes they're good. But I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. And so at that point in time, I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, hey, turn your phone off. And he just looked at me terrified, and he just moved. And I was like, whatever, as long as you're just not in front. Cause I don't want to stare at your phone while watching the show. I think it's so annoying. I've been to a couple shows now where they give you those bags where you put your phone in there, and so you get to keep your phone, but you can't use it. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why not just say like, hey, you just can't bring a phone in, but whatever.
Yeah, they have that at the, they don't give you one of the high-tech ones, but if you go to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, they just give you like an envelope, and they just tell you, put your phone in here. Yeah. And the only rules are, which I think would be great rules for anywhere, is they say you can't look at your phone while you're in here. If you want to take a call, you can just walk outside, take a call there. And the other rule is no heckling the comedians. And
yeah,
I'm like, I can get behind both those.
Yeah, and think about it, dude. You go into a show, you go through a metal detector, or they search your bag all the time now anyways, right? Because they're looking for weapons or drugs or whatever. So it's like, they already have rules, no smoking, no weed, no whatever. So it's like, okay, and what happens if you get busted doing it? They tell you, they either take it from you, or if they're really strict, they kick you out. Same thing, hey, no phones. Okay, cool. If I see your phone, we'll tell you to put it away once. Otherwise, if they're super strict, they say, screw it, you get booted out. It's not hard. Everyone's going to realize real fast, don't pull your phone out. But yeah, so but I agree. Like, it's fun to record a little bit of the show, maybe get like a song or in there because it's like your favorite song or what. Who cares? But like recording an entire event and just to do it, I think is so annoying. And it's like it's not the same.
Yeah, well, I
You need to
personally
be at the
never do
show.
it myself because I know I can go on YouTube and someone else will have done it.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, but it's also at a metal show. It's like there's so much. I don't want to say anger, but just so much like adrenaline and hostility that's going on that when you do stuff to irritate people, that bar of getting punched in the face is way lower. You know what I mean? Because like at that point in time, it was like that's right after that. I was like, I'm going to the pit. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go unleash on some people. So I went down and just well, you've seen it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Vision Pro I think is a total waste of money. I think the world's in a decline technologically. I think we need to get back out into the real world. And if we can somehow make technology like get us there, I think if we can get new tech that makes us go into the real world so it augments us to enjoy real life better, I think that is the tech path that I want to follow. And I think the VR headset is the opposite of that.
Makes sense. And if you guys like this, subscribe and follow us at Nidus IAM on everything.
Cool. Awesome.